Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button and it totally messed up everything. Alright. So I got the video up. I'm gonna go ahead and play it so you know what the person is.
This is a comment from Destiny.
Can you hear it?
Ian does think it's a serious accusation that needs to be investigated.
How loud is it? Is it too loud, too soft? About the same as me? Okay.
And that he doesn't think it's a joke.
But that's just not true. The point he was trying to make was really dog-shitly done. Destiny said this extremely disgusting thing about Ethan, and yet Ethan doesn't have smoke for him, but he does.
His
for
video is
other
about
people that he's
Moist
gone after through
Critical
lawsuits.
To me, it's
calls
super
out
funny
Ethan
that he has
for
so much smoke for everyone that he thinks he can bully, but the person that he's
for
terrified, he just keeps
suing
very overtly
iDubbbz
running from.
for
Nobody
like a
actually
video.
thought that iDubbbz was calling him a pedophile. Everybody knew that this was just some snarky bullshit. iDubbbz didn't actively support the message. He was just being a bitch. This is probably not something that you should justifiably sue over. And pretty much every single response is like, yeah, but his kids were threatened and so he's worked up. And it's like, yeah, this is purely driven by emotionally because of the best friend that betrayed another best friend. Is that something to sue for? I don't think so. Am I my pants over iDubbbz getting sued? No, I'm not.
Ethan Klein has become like the Nintendo of YouTubers. He is extraordinarily litigious.
Coughing litigiously? Alright, Sussy Bakas. Listen, haven't talked about Ethan Klein in a while, ever since everybody in the Ethan sphere got very upset with me with my last take on the iDubbbz lawsuit. An entire month ago when Ethan Klein announced, he teased the lawsuit, and I called that Ethan Klein's lawsuit against iDubbbz is pathetic, which I still frankly agree with. I'm sure we'll get into it as we go on. And it says coughs litigiously. That's funny. Anyway, Moist Critical weighed in on it. That's the only reason I'm really watching it. I don't know. You know, I'm genuinely curious about what his take is on it. So, yeah, let's take a look. You guys know the drill. $2 a month, small gut. Access to the members-only Discord if you link your YouTube to your Discord, and access to the VODs after I go offline. Medium gut, $5 a month. Access to members-only content. And pre-releases. Incredible stuff. If you do it through your desktop, it's cheaper. So, let's get this farty sharded, baby!
I just heard about the H3 versus iDubbbz defamation lawsuit and spent the last 3 or so
Is the friendship over?
hours
My audio had a problem, so repeat commentary. 30-second pre-watch?
learning about it and getting into the nitty-gritty, figuring out all the bits and pieces and getting all the morsels of information I could find to really put the nipple clamps on it and figure out what all the hoopla is. And it is a real thing. The pugilistic legal paperwork has been filed against iDubbbz, so now they're gonna duke it out, not with knuckle sandwiches, but with extremely expensive litigation.
Right. I don't know, man. You know, part of this does feel like just trying to crush iDubbbz, because they used to be friends, and iDubbbz did wrong him. You know? I understand that this is all centralizing around, an image of what Destiny said in the Discord, saying that Ethan most likely, molests his kids, which is very unlikely. I don't think that's true. I don't even think his penis worked. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, very doubtfully true. There's like a 0% chance, right? And I know it was to be snarky, and but I don't. Why not sue Destiny? What's the argument? Is the argument that Destiny? I mean, I saw a theory where Destiny's coverage on, Ethan's coverage on Destiny before was so poor that he might think that there could be a countersuit. Destiny could countersue Ethan and actually win a defamation lawsuit. Because he like misinterpreted things that Destiny had said and he snarked Destiny. I don't know how true that is. It could be possible. I'm not even saying Destiny's an amazing person, but there could be moments where he misinterpreted information or even potentially pushed information dishonestly. You know, I don't know if he would ever do that, but so maybe that's why. My understanding is Destiny admitted it was not real. So wouldn't that show maliciousness? I don't know. Seems stupid.
Offer it before I even get into the spaghetti and meatballs of the actual story here. There is just something that pets my peeves. There is something that grinds my gears, greases my cheeks so much I can't resist yapping about it briefly. When I was in the trenches digging around for information about what all of this is about, I kept seeing people say that I refuse to cover these kind of things for a variety of different reasons. I'm ignoring it, this and that.
I think I saw a tweet that was like lightly referencing that. I think it was in reference. I was in reference to Denham's lawsuit, where Denham's got a tentative win on her lawsuit. I think it still has to get like, you know, deliberated more intensely. But I think Denham's might even be the one to say like, oh, Charlie won't cover this because blah 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 blah. I mean, listen, I don't know what's to really cover. It's you know, it does seem, I don't know, maybe the court will change his mind, but it does seem like, I remember I was like, oh yeah, this is a justifiable lawsuit against Denham's. I think that the Casey-tron and Frogan one were probably justifiable, but it seems like Denham's might actually have a good shot. She might have actually reacted enough to make it. What the hell? She might have reacted enough to make it seem like it was like transformative enough. So I could see them passing that one over. But it's because Destiny was made in passing, and Ian literally had it as his watermark for a stream for 2 hours straight. Nobody knew about Destiny's statement until Ian brought it up. That's not true. I don't think I believe that at all. No, I don't think a single person took iDubbbz seriously at all, and iDubbbz gets like 4 viewers a stream, so I don't really think that it was like that super signal boosted from iDubbbz. Also, iDubbbz revitalized Ethan's career. Let's be fucking real here, you know. Not revitalized the entire thing, but like the hit piece he made against Ethan definitely turned his shit around.
I don't know how many more times I need to say this. I am just really not online that much these days. The only streams I watch are like the Summer Games Fest and like events like that, but I don't watch streams. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, and I don't go on Twitter. Like, at all. I still have Twitter.
I feel that. I've been trying to be a little less online. I got a lot of shit going on right now.
Because I send and reply to DMs through there sometimes for like events, like Tyler One's League of Legends tournament.
Whoa, didn't somebody try to jack up Tyler One's League of Legends tournament? It's like a lot more money. Was it train wrecks?
Come here, catfish.
And he denied it?
I heard from him on Twitter DM, so I have it for reasons like that. But I don't like doom scroll Twitter and see a bunch of things anymore. Look at the last tweet I made. So like I don't see a lot of these things that are going on anymore. But for some reason, everyone jumps to, oh, he must be ignoring it. He's got to be ignoring it. We can really tell a lot about this guy from the things he refuses to cover.
Well, I think that, you know, people are getting older. And it's not really, and again, I think Denham's made that point. It's not really like a super popular concept that people are just kind of moving on and getting older, and priorities are changing, and people are having shit going on in their real life, and people are changing the way that they want to talk about their content or what they want to talk about. And I understand. Like, that makes sense to me, you know? Like, I get it, especially since, like, a lot of the Ethan stuff is very niche now. It's not so mainstream anymore. Yeah, I get it. I kind of get it, man.
I just don't see them. The things I do hear about come from my friends sending them to me, or when I stream chat telling me about them, putting them on my radar.
Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that I see is people in the Discord. They'll tell me about something. I dodged. They tell me about something in the Discord. That's how I see a lot of my stuff.
But if neither of those two avenues show it to me or tell me about it, I just never hear about it. And I'm not even a fucking streamer anymore, not full time. I'm like a semi-retired streamer. I stream sometimes. Sometimes I'll stream like 3-4 days in a row. But
It was a misinput. You calm down.
Old school games, like a lot of retro games or a lot of Steam cum dumpster games, like actual trash.
Wow, it sounds kind of hot.
So like I'm not even really a streamer, so I don't even see a lot of that either. So like it's not me. avoiding certain things for a nefarious reason, I just literally don't ever hear about it, so I never learn about it. Now, there is some stories that I do hear about and get really invested in, like Bricks and Minifigs versus Reckless Ben. I've been very glued to that one, had my finger on the pulse of. But that was something I was put on my radar by friends and Stream Chat. So, genuinely, I am just not online that much, so I don't see a lot of it. So, with that out of the way, I did spend like the last 3 hours learning about this defamation lawsuit between H3 and iDubbbz, because that did sound pretty concerning. Because there's always been like an unwritten rule on the internet, not just YouTube, where if there's beef online, it stays online. And you handle it online.
Oh, is that where his stuff is coming from? I guess. I don't know that. Maybe.
Kind of not
I guess.
access stuff.
I guess that's what I mean. It just doesn't seem like a very productive lawsuit. It just really just seems like a way to try to financially ruin his ex-best friend that like wronged him. You know, iDubbbz is basically done for. He's like, nobody cares about him. Like, his career is completely dead. There was literally no actual damage. Ian revitalized. Like, Ian gave Ethan, I think Ethan even admitted it, like a boost after his shitty hit piece. So it just seems like a way to try to financially ruin his friend, honestly. Is he talking about them? Really? Am I fucking stupid? I could have swore this was about H3 and iDubbbz. Am I fucking insane? I don't think that's true at all. What?
Oh, going over that threshold, the event horizon of trying to use litigation to silence your opponent or...
Yeah, you think he pretty cool? I've been watching a lot of his stuff. I started yesterday. I started watching his stuff because he covers Caleb Hammer. And I was watching Caleb Hammer. And he had mentioned Papa Gut. And I was like, who? Who is Papa Gut? And I looked it up. And it's Papa Gut. He I think leans a little left when it comes to politics and stuff, but pretty good. Definitely good background noise. I need to put the thingy thing in the...
or something like that. That had always been etched in the stone tablets, the fucking 10 commandments of online discourse. And now all of a sudden, I'm hearing about H3 suing iDubbbz for defamation. So obviously I wanted to hear more about that. And after diving in, hitting that cannonball into the pool, I learned he has a lot of active lawsuits. I think it's 5, maybe 6 against...
Yep, he does.
...other streamers and YouTubers. So it's a bit of a rampage he's been on. I knew about one before all this, which was against the Snark community. That I did hear about. And that...
Yeah, that one kind of makes the most sense, I think. I think going after the Snark community makes more sense than any of the other ones. TBH, that one seems to be the most justifiable, because it got into, like, real-world harassment, you know?
That one made a lot of sense to me.
I understand that iDubbbz downplayed the real-world harassment, but, you know, I don't think that he was directly involved.
Actually, the Snark community, from what I recall, was doing some diabolical, like, harassing, stalking stuff, sending CPS. I remember that, and like Human Skulls. Those things I recalled from like the Snark community. So it made sense that he would pursue litigation there, because that is highly illegal, fucking psychopath behavior.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think a lot of YouTubers knew this, and that was like part of my understanding too. And I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. But after the Snark harassment, the lawsuit against Casey, Tron, Denims, and Frogan, you know, I think a lot of people got the understanding that, like, oh, part of that was because they were in some way linked to the harassment campaign, especially Denim signal boosting Bad Empanada, literally saying some slanderous shit about Ethan pooping in his house or whatever, the Giardia nonsense. What is CPS? Somebody call CPS and Ethan. You know what I mean? And so I think that was always a motivation to try to go after them financially or kind of like, you know, prove a point. And I think the iDubbbz thing is another thing. I don't know. I don't think Ethan ever would have cared outside of that. I don't really think it has as much to do with any type of defamation because like iDubbbz didn't actually successfully defame anybody. You know, they were rolling around in the slop. You know?
So that one I remember, and that one made sense to me. But when I was learning about these other ones, granted I haven't dove too deep into all those because this is clearly a lot. I was mainly focused on the defamation one, but man, Ethan Klein has become like the Nintendo of YouTubers. He is extraordinarily litigious. Anyway, enough blab.
Coughing litigiously, dude? What the fuck?
What started this defamation
Coughing litigiously?
lawsuit was this iDubbbz stream.
Okay, this is my watermark for the stream. I don't want any of my content being stolen. Got another Kalshi ad? I'm sorry, Fazium. We're all getting Kalshi ads these days.
True.
It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here, but I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation. That's
Also, why is iDubbbz a dragon? I don't have the lore. I don't get why he's a dragon.
very fucked up.
It is very, very fucked up. And it's despicable that he would think it's a good idea to post that there.
Well, he's obviously being snarky. So, I respectfully disagree. I have seen comments of people saying Ethan is a pedo and abuses his kids and not comments on Reddit. The thing with that is that has nothing to do with iDubbbz, to be honest with you. That has everything to do with the fact that like the whole pedo troll account came out where Ethan had like a Reddit where he was just like saying dumb shit as a troll. You know, saying, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say pedophilic shit, but he was making like really inappropriate jokes. And so people are calling him a pedophile because of that. And maybe my timeline's off, but that's where the Destiny comment I think comes from. I think the Destiny comment in his Discord comes from the they had like Destiny and Ethan had like an altercation between each other. I actually covered that a while ago. Where like Ethan was calling Destiny like a pedophile and stuff. It got like really, it got pretty messy. So I don't think it has anything to do. Like iDubbbz didn't shift the narrative to make people. iDubbbz didn't shift the narrative to make people think Ethan was a fucking pedophile.
While knowingly aware that it's not true. So the message isn't Ian's. This comes from Destiny, and he found this screenshot and he kept it on screen for a very long time.
I'm assuming it was a screenshot on like Reddit or Twitter or something.
And he said he didn't agree with it, but thinks it needs to be addressed because it's so fucked up. It is a terrible stream. Just giving it to you real blunt, real raw. It is no good. And I'm no stranger to getting shit-talked by iDubbbz. He has said some very nasty, very untrue things about me on his broadcast as well.
Well, nobody respects iDubbbz or takes it seriously. What he's referring to, which I think is the funniest thing in the world, what iDubbbz is referring to when it comes to Moist Critical, is he calls Moist Critical part of the alt-right pipeline. That's one of the things that he calls Moist Critical, which is so funny to me because like this year, Moist Critical has been kind of on a tear to be very like anti-Trump in a productive way. And so, you know, it's funny that iDubbbz loops lumps. He lumps Moist Critical in with Asmongold, who's like very right wing at this point. I mean, like, I don't know what else to tell you. He's on podcast saying he'd rather have a bunch of robots than any fucking, you know, legal immigrants from other countries. You know, just having some of the fucking shittiest takes on God of War, even though he hasn't played since 2005. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. LARPing, but that would be that's what I'm assuming he's talking about. I haven't seen anything else, which is so unfortunate because I think that Moist Critical is what iDubbbz wanted to be, but I think that his TBI just kind of prevented that, you know?
But what is being reported in regards to this stream isn't exactly telling the whole story. Now, when I first heard of this lawsuit, I was reading a bunch about it, but I wanted more information, like, directly associated with it to make sure I wasn't getting, like, fraudulent or misleading shit fed to me. So I reached out to someone whom I know is on the H3 team,
Ooh, I think it's Harley, right?
And Ethan did hear
Oh,
about
well.
that, so he did talk directly about me on his show and challenge me on a few things, and I did eventually get to talk directly with Ethan, and I shared my full perspective on things and the problems I had around it and my concerns, and got his perspective on things to see if there's any misunderstandings and such. Ultimately, I don't think we fully saw eye to eye on this, which, you know, that's going to happen. I fully understand that this is a very emotionally charged subject for him after everything him and his family went through with snarkers in particular. I know that the CPS and the human skulls incident are like a legitimately traumatizing thing, like the fraudulent CPS call. Like, I get how inexcusable and abhorrent that is. I really
I'm not making an eye of what he's saying. I fell. Yeah, I get that. I think that's pretty. I think it's definitely unfortunate, and it's definitely upsetting. I get it. You know, true. I agree, and I think it was shitty that iDubbbz didn't, you know, disconnect themselves from Denims. I agree with that. I agree with that. And you know what? If your argument is like, you know what, Ethan's obviously doing this just to get back at iDubbbz because he's pissed off at him. I guess that's the take. I mean, I guess I just disagree. I don't know. I guess I just disagree with that being the way to go. You know, if you want to go with that argument, you're like, listen, he's really worked up. Fine. You know, you think, sure, okay. I'm not exactly worked up over iDubbbz getting sued. It's not exactly my number one priority here. Like I said before, when we were just like chatting before even I started the segment, you know, Ethan has always been somebody who I think a lot of people for a very long time have like, for me specifically, I'll talk about, I've agreed and disagreed with Ethan. Whoa, guys, centrist, you know, motherfucker. I've had agreements and disagreements, but you know, pretty much I would say most times, the agreements would generally outweigh the disagreements, you know. And it's unfortunate now that I think that the biggest issue I have with Ethan, it's not like these lawsuits where I think he's just like coughing litigiously everywhere. I think it's because like he's just, his bite's gone. You know, I remember when this guy would call out bad people, and now he really doesn't. He kind of just stays safe. You know, like 3 years ago, this guy would have been shitting on Tekatone for raping his ex-girlfriend. I know he would have covered it. I know he would have covered Nuxtaku having, like, you know, basically streamlining fucking lolicon porn to his young audience and creating a Discord channel, or a channel as NSFW channel as Discord for a 14-year-old because the guy gave him $10. He would have been calling out Asmongold for buddying up with Nick Fuentes, the guy that doesn't like Jews, saying insanely racist shit, just like sexist shit. I mean, Asmongold literally is just like complete.
Come in. Okay.
And the only things that he's really said is like, "Oh, I disagree with your take on God of War, Asmongold," and it's like, damn, like where'd the bite go? You know what I mean? So it's like, because I think that's what it is. You know, I don't agree with the iDubbbz lawsuit, but nobody gives a shit. iDubbbz is a fucking loser. But we kind of just like stopped having. There's nothing of, you know. He covered the Asmongold God of War thing at least, but that's just, it's such a cop out because you're not going to talk about Asmongold sitting here fucking saying black people have low IQ, but you're going to say like, hey, you shouldn't call a woman in a game ugly. Like it's almost worse. You know what I mean? Just, if you're going to stay away from the guy, then just stay away from the guy. I give him no credit for that. You know, I just don't. I think it's fucking, and maybe he's just tired and he's looking to retire from YouTube. I see he has, you know, Harley and the lesbian, and that's not, I'm not saying that insultingly. He has those two, a girl with a microphone. I think that's her. I get her and Cruel World tapping mine a little confused because it's just 4 things. Maybe he's looking to pass it on, and so he's just kind of slowly charging himself out. But I mean, like, you know, that's kind of where I stand, man. Kind of where I stand. So I think that I think that the whole iDubbbz disagreement, maybe to some degree, has like less to do with disagreeing with the iDubbbz stuff and more to do with just like, where did the bite go? You know? So, I don't know.
We do. But I just truly don't believe that this lawsuit is in any way, shape, or form helpful to anyone outside of the lawyers. They're fucking smiling ear to ear.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right now, literally drooling with a bib on. But
whoa,
it's
is that anti-Semitic? What the fuck?
harmful to, I think, literally everyone involved, and does have potential ramifications for others way outside of it. I have never and will never be a fan of extreme litigation, and I have always been vocally advocating against creators going that nuclear path, and I always will. Of course, there are cases where it is,
especially in this slop sphere, because listen, I've watched Ethan for a while, and there's plenty of shit that he said that probably could be sued for. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking living and dying on it. You know what I mean? But some shit gets a little crazy. Actually, I will say one example. I know people are gonna get a little upset with me. But like the Colleen Ballinger situation, like she's irresponsible and shouldn't be a content creator. But like from what I remember, he was pushing she's trying to like groom and kind of indicating that she's trying to like groom and sleep with kids thing. At least that's the aura I got. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention. This was years ago. I could be wrong, but like that shit got fucking insane. The criticism was very disproportionate in my opinion. And I'm sure there's more stuff than just that. Because that's kind of the nature of some of the slop sphere when we're slopping around a little bit. So yeah,
understandable. Like I said, going after the snarkers that sent a fraudulent CPS thing through and the skulls and stuff, that one I do understand. But this one, I could never support that. And I just can't see the real just cause behind it. And I think it is a terrible example for other creators in the space to follow, where maybe they believe that even though this is about like a Canadian defamation lawsuit, well, maybe they can try their luck in the States. It's not like defamatory lawsuits are exclusive to Canada. There's better protections here, no doubt, but still, if they take from this that maybe the way to fight battles online is to go the litigious route, well, then it's just a huge mess across the board. I think it is just a very bad precedent. Even if, the lawsuit doesn't end in a victory for him, this...
Maybe. I guess I just question. I don't think it's worth suing over. I guess that's the one difference that I have. Is like, if I felt like it was worth suing over, then I'd be like, oh, do it. But it seems like Charlie's more into this like idea of like, hey, there's like this code, and you shouldn't sue people or go after their advertisers. Which I kind of disagree with that a little bit too. It depends. Like if you're saying like horrific shit, you're like, oh, I hate black people or something, and somebody's like, hey, there's this person saying this, and the advertiser decides to take it away. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? So it just seems like, we have different cores for, there seems to be a code on YouTube that Charlie has from being on here for so long, which is fine. Like whatever. It doesn't seem like something worth suing about. Just kill iDubbbz. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm kidding.
Way of engaging with discourse, I think, has always been frowned upon, but for some reason is starting to get some more support behind it, and I just fully disagree with it. I think that this is genuinely just a big threat across the board to just the entire space. Like if discourse becomes fearful of litigation flying back and forth, it's going to stifle a lot of voices and stifle some very legitimate criticism down the line. It's
maybe, I guess it depends on how far it goes. I mean, let's say not for nothing. So again, I think that this is really an instance of rolling around in the mud, but let's take it at a more face value perspective, and you have iDubbbz signal boosting a bunch of hey, Ethan Klein molests his kids stuff. Obviously not true. What precedent is being set? You shouldn't falsely accuse somebody of molesting their kids. You know what I mean? So I don't I'm just not I'm not shitting myself on the fundament. I don't fundamentally that is something perfectly fine to sue over. I just don't think that that's what it is at face value, and I think that there might be an aspect here of trying to lock iDubbbz down in a little bit of a litigious situation.
It's just not something I want to see become commonplace. Now, I did also have a brief conversation with iDubbbz about this as well, letting him...
Oh, shit, dude. The iDubbbz? The guy himself? The man, the myth, the cuck?
Know that this really is a horrible thing that he did to try and make his point. And he agreed. He said that it was a legitimately awful thing that he did to make that point.
I think Ethan even got him to apologize too, so I feel like what's the point in suing at this point?
And that
I think he wants revenge. Well, yeah, I think everybody knows that Ethan wants revenge with this situation. He's frustrated. It was his best friend that didn't defend him enough, and I get that. But I think most people that's the thing is that like every argument that I'll hear from people. This is the problem with the Ethan Klein lawsuit is like I think most people even know that it's like not really a justifiable lawsuit, specifically because every response that I hear from people is like you don't understand, his kids were threatened, and it's like iDubbbz didn't threaten his kids, and nobody took that stupid, nobody even really saw that 2-hour long like Destiny like, oh, he probably molested his kids thing. Most people just understand that Ethan is worked up emotionally. So like like iDubbbz did not create any damages against Ethan. If anything, iDubbbz like helped Ethan's career with this horrible hit piece. So like everybody knows that this is all just like a revenge story. Everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna go
even
get
Ethan
something to
Klein's
eat.
own audience, they know
I'll
it's
be
a
right
revenge
back.
story. So it's like, give me a fucking break. Like, you know that it's, you know what I mean? Like if that's what you want to say, like I don't care if it's justifiable or not. You just think that it's okay because like fine, have that take, but like let's not pretend that it's anything other than like an emotional argument here. Because that's what it boils down to.
It was a genuine, sincere apology that he was issuing and how regretful he was from it. So I did have a conversation with both sides of this to make sure I had like a full, clear picture of where everything was and what this was all about.
I don't know how it works in Canada, if the complaint is public or what. But if you look at it, he emphasizes throughout that he does think it's a serious accusation that needs to be investigated and that he doesn't think it's a joke, right?
Well, I think he's...
Now, I know...
Yeah, sure. I think he's saying the accusation isn't like a joke. But I think we all know he's snarking. It's whatever. Like, I'm not going to fucking go on about it.
People are like, well, why don't you sue Destiny for saying it? Well, Destiny made it immediately. First of all, this is a comment from Destiny, like, made in passing. Ian put it on his screen for 2 hours during his main broadcast.
Well, I was pretty sure that's in Destiny's Discord, which I imagine gets more views than an iDubbbz stream does, but...
Podcast. Destiny made it clear that he was not being serious, right? Pretty much immediately after writing it. Like, nobody...
Wouldn't that, like, show some kind of malicious intent?
Was like, yo, Destiny made this claim that Ethan molested his children. Oh, shit. No, people knew that when Destiny said it was like...
I guess so.
He was just being a dickhead. Or, I mean, he was being a giant fuck.
Here's what I know. I'm not going to ever be in this situation. Here's the one thing I'll say. I'm never going to be in this fucking situation because I'm not going to falsely call people pedophiles. You know what I'm saying, dude? But I will justifiably call Rape Tone a rapist. Only because that's just what the law said. It's just the law said. You know what I'm saying?
Piece of shit, right? But he immediately afterwards made it clear.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, too. People share clips of iDubbbz' stuff just because his stream didn't do very well. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I suppose you got a good point there, buddy.
Clear that he didn't actually think.
I suppose you got me on that one.
What? But Ian took that, and just because you're showing what someone else said doesn't make it not defamation, because you're showing essentially...
True. Well, I mean, my question is, like, what proof of damages could Ethan possibly propose when it comes to iDubbbz? Okay. Anyway, what damages could you possibly prove from this? I don't know, but okay.
This accusation bare of context and also kind of saying that you think it's true, right?
Now, after hearing Ethan explain that, I actually made the noble sacrifice of going back and watching the entire iDubbbz stream segment with this in it when he was talking about it. Boy, howdy. I'm not a hero. It was brave, but I don't need your flowers. That was agonizing. It was heinous, even. It was brutal. This whole segment where he was talking about that, I think, was really, really rough. But I don't recall at any point throughout it him actually trying to argue that it's a legitimate thing or trying to convince his audience that it's real. So I know one of the big things is that it came from iDubbbz, who has actually met Ethan and his family. So there's like this air...
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the emotional element that's being like prioritized here.
...of credibility around him saying something like this, but that's just not true. He's not even trying to say anything about it is credible, even outright says that it's not, that he doesn't agree with it. So he's not trying to present it as a real argument based on, any of his experiences knowing Ethan and his family.
Yeah, he's snarking. He's playing the game, right? That's what it really boils down to. He's being a bitch.
Also, I will say that I think Ethan Klein is terrified of this guy. So it's just kind of like legit. It is to me, it's super funny that he has so much smoke for everyone that he thinks he can bully, but the person that he's fucking terrified, he just keeps very overtly running from. And it's like, yeah.
Now, while Ethan is 100% correct
Okay, I'm
that
back.
iDubbbz says that this is a big allegation that Ethan should be addressing, he's not doing it earnestly, or at least I don't think he was. It's actually really kind of hard to tell. The whole segment was fucking awful, and the point he was trying to make was really dog shittily done. But
That's a good point. He wanted Ethan's attention, and Ethan took the bait. I guess that's a good point. I guess you got me there, buddy buckaroo. That part's true. He definitely wanted Ethan's attention, and Ethan definitely gave him the attention he was looking for. So, well, I don't know if he's looking for that attention, but he gave him some kind of attention. So,
what he's trying to say is that clip right there at the end, where Destiny said this extremely outrageous, outlandish, disgusting thing about Ethan, and yet Ethan doesn't have smoke for him, but he does for the other people that he's gone after through lawsuits. I'm pretty sure that's the point he was trying to make by putting that on screen. Like, look, Destiny has said something absolutely despicable, yet you don't have that same energy for him as you do for the others. Unless I've blanked out and like,
yeah, I think that that's a fair representation. Like I said, I and it could be wrong, but I think that the way that Ethan engaged with Destiny in their last altercation they had together was probably not the most accurate, and so he might be afraid of a countersuit for defamation. That could be what it is. Again, I don't think it's unreasonable. I think part of it's because Ethan knows that Destiny has money, right? It could be part of it. Or maybe Ethan's just thinks that Destiny's a net positive, debate-wise, in these tough and trying political times.
Like, erased moments from my memory from this segment. I don't recall him saying that this is like a serious thing he believes in and is presenting it as such. Like about...
My problem is that if somebody came in midstream, they would just see the watermark and not see the reason why you put it. I don't... No, nobody's watching an iDub stream that doesn't understand the lore. Nobody is gonna get fucking baffled. Nobody's getting baffled by iDubbbz. Is like nobody's getting baffled by it. It's not happening. It's just not a thing that's happening. Nobody took this seriously. Nobody actually thought that iDubbbz was calling him a pedophile. Everybody knew that this was just some snarky ass bullshit. iDubbbz didn't actively support the message. He was just being a bitch. This is probably not something that you should justifiably sue over. And pretty much every single response is like, yeah, but his kids were threatened and so he's worked up. And it's like, yeah, thanks for acknowledging. Like, yes, this is purely driven by emotionally because of a best friend that betrayed another best friend. Yeah, I get it. All right, is that something to sue for? I don't think so. Am I shitting my pants over iDubbbz getting sued? No, I'm not. But I think everybody knows that this is like probably not a valid lawsuit and probably just meant to make iDubbbz pay, even if Ethan loses a lawsuit, because iDubbbz is going to have to spend money defending this defamation case. But I could be wrong.
Ethan is this, and this is a real allegation that really has a lot of water to it. Now, this doesn't change the fact that what iDubbbz did here is completely awful. To try and make this point using that kind of comment with something as monstrously evil as that is just so fucking low. It is. But I don't believe it's how Ethan is necessarily explaining it to everyone, where iDubbbz is really, believing in this. iDubbbz came over to my house, he met my family, now he's going out there saying these things. It is extremely scummy because he did meet his kids and everything, and now he's putting a comment out there like that. That is very scummy, but he's not using it to try and make this claim that Ethan is those things. He's trying to use that to show that Destiny has said something so fucking terrible, yet you are not approaching him with the same energy you have everybody else. That is the point he was trying to make, I think, throughout that segment, at least from everything that I saw when watching it. Granted, it was very hard to sit through, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was trying to get at.
Well, I think Ethan knows that too. And I think that Ethan obviously knows that too. Ethan knows that it wasn't intentionally trying to defame him. I don't think Ethan's not a fucking stupid person. Ethan doesn't actually, think that I just was trying to defame him. I genuinely believe that. Ethan's not dumb. Ethan knows that if you want to do a lawsuit, that you have to start crazy, and you have to end, like, if you go crazy and they go normal, you meet in the middle of crazy and normal. So both sides go crazy and you meet in the middle, right? That's the point. But that's also having the impact of, I mean, potentially, I don't even know if it would be this. I'm not a lawyer. Potentially, I don't know, like misrepresenting iDubbbz's point. You know, I guess we'd argue he doesn't think it's intentional. Would that not be also like potentially some kind of defamatory statement? iDubbbz isn't actually calling you a pedophile. I don't know. I mean, how would you feel when you have kids and someone said you molested? I think I'm at a point I'm going to ban anybody who says something so fucking stupid like that, ever again. I just need you to understand why I'm like right here at banning every stupid motherfucker who comes in here after listening for 3.5 seconds with the stupidest fucking moron brain in the world. Every single time I say this, I'm like, yeah, I get it. He's emotionally worked up, but it's not a valid lawsuit. If you think that him being emotionally worked up makes it valid, whatever, I don't care about iDubbbz. And then I get some fucking, I don't know, like mouth breather who sucks his thumb going like, well, if somebody said you molested your kids, how'd you feel? I don't know, dude. What the fuck is what's the point of view? What are you saying? How would I feel if a loser nobody respects or appreciates said that I molested my kid? I probably wouldn't care because nobody takes iDubbbz seriously. That's what I think. I mean, that's probably the answer you're looking for. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, dude? That's true. I am jealous he's not suing me. True, dude. True.
With that there.
Please don't sue me, dude. Don't do it. Okay?
But I think that was a terrible way of going about it. Now, Ethan also addresses why he's not suing Destiny as well, and he's saying because Destiny cleared up that he wasn't being serious right away.
Wouldn't that mean that he was intentionally like saying it maliciously? Like, no?
I don't understand that. I'm not going to lie. That's not making sense to me. Can't wrap my noodle around it. It's not computing. I think it is a very disgusting statement. 100%. He's not wrong for feeling like this is a terrible thing that's being said about him. That is a line you don't cross, talking about people's children in a manner like this. It's gross. It is gross. So then why is this defamation lawsuit reserved exclusively for iDubbbz with a nice big bow on it, but not also extended
to... the kids are out of school for the summer. True. What the fuck, dude?
To Destiny, the genesis of that comment. Does that not just prove...
I also think I don't have it in me to throw down at the slop the way that the way that Ethan throws down in the slop. You know what I mean? You know, like, I think, you know, and I don't want to say, this isn't something I'm trying to say to be, like, fucking antagonistic or anything. But, like, for me, like, Ethan associated with a real piece of shit, which is Hassan Parker. I don't know how I got hit with that. And then, like, you know, he made his piece about him. Wow, this is a fucking horrible reset point. Okay. He made his takedown of Hassan, which I think was valid. And then I remember saying back then over and over, I was like, you know, he kept talking about Hassan. I'm like, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about this guy? You know, and Hassan and his community are insanely toxic and then vile. It's like a fucking homeless guy waving around the knife. And maybe Ethan didn't realize that. And then things kind of blew up, especially with the Bad Empanada situation, you know? So I just personally wouldn't throw down in the slop like that. Not that Ethan knew this was going to be the outcome or anything. I would just mostly be like, all right, I'm moving on. Like, I'm not going to fucking sit here. I'd make my takedown piece and then I'd move on. Personally, you know, I'm not blaming Ethan for anything happening. I'm just saying I don't know that this would necessarily happen to me. I don't throw down like that. I don't be throwing down like that. I don't have the constitution to be throwing down like that. I don't have the cojones for it. So
prove the point that I believe iDubbbz was trying to make in the first place, which is Destiny, for some reason, can say these atrocious, abhorrent things about Ethan, and for some reason, Ethan doesn't have the same anger towards Destiny as he does someone like iDubbbz. Now, I guess with iDubbbz, you could then say, well...
maybe he's just afraid because Destiny will really slop it down.
iDubbbz actually did meet his children and stuff, so it's an extra level of fucked up, which is fair. I do completely agree. It does add another fucked up rancid layer to this lasagna here, where he did actually know...
You know, a man made me a vegetarian lasagna one time. Isn't that fucking crazy? What the fuck is that about?
Ethan and his family, and would use a comment like that to try and make his statement about, like, being soft on Destiny or whatever. But I still just don't understand why Ethan is willing to just be like, yeah, but Destiny, you know, cleared up that he wasn't being serious. He was just goofing around. He was just being a dickhead.
I mean, this is a good criticism. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of like letting him off pretty scot-free on that one. No? True. I agree.
What?
I think if Destiny wasn't Destiny's fucking insane, you know what I mean? I would say that Destiny's community is probably more toxic than Hassan's community, frankly. and Destiny's willing to really slap it down. So, you know, that's probably a big reason why. But on principle, it's a good point. You know, I think that there's probably a. I mean, I don't like who wouldn't be afraid of Destiny, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to fucking go toe to toe with that guy. My understanding is community is willing to dox people and shit. Not about that life, boy. Not about that life, you know.
What? If the reason truly is that Canada's laws around defamation are significantly more lax
Defamation, baby.
and thus you have a case in Canada but not the US, then to me that tells me that it's not really a defamation case worth pursuing. And if you're not going after Destiny for these comments, but you will for iDubbbz trying to make a different point about it, again, I want to make it clear. I think the way iDubbbz went about doing this point is fucking atrocious. I don't know how much more clear I can make, but he wasn't trying to argue the legitimacy of the claim or anything like that. It was to show that you're very soft on Destiny, but not others, and used that outrageously gross comment as an example of it. But if you're going after iDubbbz solely because you know you can get a defamation case win because of Canada's laws not being as protective as the US's, that's why you don't go after Destiny, then that to me says that you were just trying to take advantage of those laws, the lax nature of those laws in Canada, to get revenge on someone that has wronged you.
To be honest with you, I think that if iDubbbz still lived in America, that Ethan would still try to sue iDubbbz. I think that it was really more personal, and that's just an excuse he's using.
I said from the beginning that
Destiny's community is wild, but I think Hassan's maybe more willing to take action. Maybe. Here's what I think. You know what? That might be true. Here's what I think. They're both fucking insane. Both communities are fucking insane. That's all I have to say.
Oh,
about that. Can I go this
no.
way? Oh, you cannot.
if people want to go after my children, then you know the rules of engagement have changed forever, and that's what I said then. And when you know, when Ian broadcast this, I sent him a cease and desist because I mean, there's certain things that you don't say and you don't do, and lines you don't cross.
I think it was funny when Ethan got the apology from iDubbbz, and I think if that was his whole goal was to just get off an apology from iDubbbz just to embarrass and humiliate him, I would have been on it. I would have been down with that. I think that's reasonable.
Those are some
You know?
bad
I think that's
boys
a
over there.
reasonable one, to be honest with you.
And they flaunted it. They didn't take it seriously, and
I totally understand that. If someone is going to cross that line, going after like your children or your family, I get being upset about that. Absolutely. But you're saying that the rules of engagement have changed for everyone but Destiny? Because he is the one that made the comment, and you're like totally just okay with being like, but he cleared up that he wasn't serious. He cleared up he was just being a dickhead.
Yeah, kind of true. It's kind of valid response, I think.
It's just not making sense. And if iDubbbz throughout that stream segment was going on and on about how like actually serious this is and how much he really believes in it, trying to convince his audience that it's true, trying to like lead some kind of like investigation against you, like another CPS visit, like another fraudulent visit from CPS, then I would totally understand pursuing like litigation against that to stop it. Now, but from what I saw in that stream, there was nothing of the sort, and he did outright say that he doesn't believe it, and that he was only saying that it should be addressed as a way of pointing to you not wanting to engage with Destiny because you're afraid of Destiny. At least that's how it seemed from all of that garbage I sat through there.
Well, it seems like that is the case. And again, there probably is like a maybe even valid fear of Destiny from Ethan.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was getting at. Now, he does mention a cease and desist here, which they did send a cease and desist to iDubbbz.
And then I think iDubbbz apologized on the stream. That was funny. That was a good one.
And it does seem like iDubbbz was fucking filled with jubilation upon receiving it. I've seen a couple of clips where he was like really nonchalant about it. Almost seemed.
Or is there a new cease and desist? I'm not like 100% updated on like the newest lawsuit. I remember like a month ago, I thought Ethan sent some kind of cease and desist, or he, or iDubbbz got word that he was going to send one, so he started apologizing. Jesus fucking Christ, this game. So he apologized. You know, he's like, oh, blah blah blah. I thought that was what that was. That I remember something like that did happen.
Kind of happy about it. Maybe he thought it'd be like a big boom of exposure.
He's probably just like fucking coping as hard as shit. He's like, the newest one. He's probably just coping hard as fuck. There is a new one though, right? I'll watch it on the internet versus. We'll just watch it real quick.
It starts when the clip. And
Shut up, dude.
It is official. I am being sued by Ethan Klein.
Is this what he's referring to, or something else?
In the courts of Calgary, Alberta,
Damn.
for defamation. I do plan on fighting against this, but for now it is in the hands of the courts and our attorneys.
I'm just curious how much fucking money this guy's got left. You know what I mean? Like, how much does he have left to possibly, like, is he going to use Anissa's OnlyFans money? Like, how are they paying for this lawsuit? Wow, what a game, I'm dead. Why are they playing for this lawsuit, you know? Like, what the fuck are they doing? How are they doing that? I am genuinely curious. I feel like all of his money's gone. I feel like he's got nothing left.
I will say that it worries me what it means for the commentary community, and especially
I don't think he cares about that. I don't think he cares about that. I think it's more of like, that's the narrative, you know what I mean? I totally deserve to die on this one. I think that's more of the narrative. Like, that's all he's got left is like, yeah, I wonder what it means for the commentary community.
the Canadian commentary community.
I guess what it means is you couldn't call everybody pedophiles anymore. That's the that's the drawback. I don't know.
But this is about all I can say, at least for now. I'm sorry that the stream is
Can you pay for a lawyer with a credit card? I don't know.
so short. I wish I could give you a lot more grease,
Ooh.
but I will resume the regularly scheduled content on Thursday.
What does that even mean? You know, it's like fucking, you know, it's almost funny is that like iDubbbz, there's just no reason for any of this. Imagine iDubbbz actually got his shit together and like he was doing some kind of, he was doing something. You gotta be fucking kidding me. He was doing something. Like maybe he was streaming consistently and actually, like, I don't know, had like a fucking channel that every other reactor has where they post their fucking reactions on fucking, they post their reactions. Okay, fuck this. On like YouTube in some capacity. You know what I mean? Like imagine he had that. And then he gets sued and he's like, oh guys, blah 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 commentary. Now he gets like a bump to his channel. He's just existing online. Nobody gives a fuck about this guy. You know what I mean? Like he's fucked himself.
Again, I'm sorry it's so short, but we will be back. And
Wow,
I
can't wait.
appreciate you being here for this important announcement. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, man.
And Pete.
That was an awkward pause. Okay.
Or something. I really don't know who would celebrate something like that, but yeah, it seemed like he wasn't taking it seriously, and he did eventually come out and say like he really regrets doing this segment and like how bad it was, and that he did make like an apology for doing it, thinking he
Oh, is you referring to the first one? Was iDubbbz being facetious in the first quote-unquote apology? I didn't get that from it, but maybe I just don't remember that.
went too far, but it did take a while. And it's worth mentioning that his community, iDubbbz, like his stream chat and like the people watching iDubbbz, were not supportive of his actions with showing that comment and trying to make that point using something so heinous. It's not like his audience was eating it up and really celebrating what he did here. His own audience was turning against him for doing that, from what I saw.
I don't really know if he has much of an audience other than like anti-iDubbbz people. Well, the problem with and maybe a lot of people do this, but I think one of the problems with like iDubbbz is that like I don't know, maybe he just doesn't understand what it means to get popular anymore. I don't think like hating on Ethan Klein is like your biggest.
Okay. I think I'm going to end the stream here, even though it's split up into 2 parts. I'm going to just end it here, and then we'll see if I can do one tomorrow. And if not, we'll do some next week.